Hello and welcome to the 20th week of Season 23, Season of the Wish, starting on April 9th, 2024. Starting this week sees Destiny 2 Into the Light begin, bringing with it the new game mode Onslaught, the returning exotic mission The Whisper, and the Brave Arsenal weapon rewards. Onslaught is Destiny 2's new PvE wave-based defense activity, where 3 Guardians defend the last city from increasingly difficult waves of the Witness's forces. On the way, Guardians will have to slay enemies, earn resources, build defences and sabotage pyramid ships. Bring on the Onslaught. To begin Onslaught, you'll be dropped onto a map and tasked with defending one of 3 possible locations. Your mission will be to defend your advanced defence unit from attacking enemy waves, and make your way onto the pyramid ship to defeat the boss on board. If at any point your ADU is destroyed, your match will end. Defending each location consists of 10 total waves. The first 9 waves will be divided into 3 wave rounds, with waves in each round ramping up in difficulty. Most of these waves will be focused on defending your ADU, but you'll also have the chance to go on the offensive and take on the Witness's forces on the pyramid ship. After each round ends, you'll get a short breather before the wave difficulty resets and the next round begins. Once you've completed 9 waves, you'll move on to the 10th wave, where you'll board the pyramid ship to take on the boss. After you defeat one of many possible bosses, a chest will drop, and you can claim your well-earned rewards. Defense purchases and upgrades. Defeating enemies will allow you to collect scraps, which you can use to purchase and upgrade your defences. These defensive units such as strip mines, decoys and turrets will be placed around the defending area. They will auto-attack or take damage from incoming enemy waves. The defence units have 3 levels, and upgrading them will increase their effectiveness. But be careful, if your upgraded defence unit is destroyed, it will need to be repurchased and re-leveled. ADU batteries. During your defence, be on the lookout for ADU batteries that can drop from saboteurs and other special units. If your ADU has taken a beating, gathering the batteries will help you repair some of the health to your ADU and get it back in working order. You'll also earn scrap every time you use an ADU battery, and using a battery on an ADU with full health will earn 3 times the scrap. Bonus objectives. Throughout your defense, you'll have the opportunity to complete bonus objectives. These often force a different playstyle and at times require you to venture further into the battlefield away from your defences. But if you complete them during the wave when they're active, you will earn valuable heavy ammo to help with your defense. Continuing your defense. Once you successfully defended your location and defeated the boss, you'll continue the battle as you move to a new location to defend. Every 10 waves, the difficulty of all enemies will increase. The Ritual Playlist version of Onslaught will have you battling through 10 waves to defend a single location, while the Standard and Legend versions will have 50 total waves across 3 locations. Additionally, the Legend version will have everything you've come to expect with more challenging difficulty modes, including champions and weekly modifiers. Hall of Champions. Destiny 2 Into the Light will include a new social space called the Hall of Champions. Within its walls, the weapons and armour of champions past and present lie dormant, waiting for those worthy enough to wield them. Shax and Arsight will be there to guide you on your Brave Arsenal quest and provide bounties for Onslaught. Increasing your Shax hype reputation by playing Onslaught and completing bounties will allow you to earn ranks and the new Trophies of Bravery. This will allow you to unlock a very special armour set where Titans, Warlocks and Hunters will each have their own group of loot chests with a curated roll of each armour piece. Brave Weapons. Arriving with Into the Light will be a retiring selection of weapons to hunt down. These include, from Season 16, Vow the Disciple Raid, the Arc Waveframe Grenade Launcher, Forbearance. From Season 12, Deepstone Crypt Raid, the Kinetic High Impact Frame Sniper, Succession. From Season 11, Season of Arrivals, the Void Vortex Frame Sword, the Falling Guillotine. From Season 6, Fabled Ranking Competitive, the Void Lightweight Frame Submachine Gun, the Recluse. From Season 5, Brave Ranking Competitive, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Grenade Launcher, the Mountaintop. From Season 5, Season of the Forge, the Void Adaptive Frame Machine Gun, Hammerhead. From Season 5, Season of the Forge, the Kinetic Aggressive Frame Pulse Rifle, Blast Furnace. From Season 4, Season of the Outlaw, the Void Adaptive Frame Heavy Grenade Launcher, Edge Transit. From Season 4, Fabled Ranking Competitive, the Solar Precision Frame Hand Cannon, Luna's Howl. From Season 1, Leviathan Raid, the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Hand Cannon, Midnight Coup. The fan favourite from multiple seasons, the Kinetic Precision Frame Scout Rifle, Hung Jury SR4. And finally, the returning Destiny 1 Stranger's Rifle, the Void High Impact Frame Pulse Rifle, Elsie's Rifle. These Brave weapons will be amongst several weapons that will be getting access to enhanced perks when the final shape releases on June 4th. Also launching this week will be the return of the exotic mission, The Whisper, where players will be able to grab a craftable version of the Solar Heavy Sniper Rifle, Whisper of the Worm. The Hall of Champions, as well as the activities coming with Destiny 2 Into the Light, can be accessed via the node on the Director starting on April 9th. Moving on, we have our Legacy rotation starting with the Forsaken expansion.
Ready if you are. Let's see what's out there.
The Dreaming City this week is at a weak curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in the Strand, and has the Broken Courier mission for the next week. The Blind Well features Scorn enemies and the Plagues, Sicarus and Veracus. The Ascendant challenge this week will be the Agonon's Abyss, which can be located over in the Bay of Drowned Wishes Lost sector on the Dreaming City. Next up, the Shadowkeep expansion. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is Beyond. The Trove Guardian is located in Archer's Line, while the Wandering Nightmare is the Nightmare of Zoltal in Sorrow's Harbour. And the Nightmare hunt this week will be Tanix, Isolation, Zydron, Servitude, and Ghoul, Rage. For our Beyond Light expansion, on Europa this week, Credis the Dark Priestess will be the Empire Hunt, Eventide Ruins will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Survival. For the 30th Anniversary expansion, Dares of Eternity Legendary rounds are Cabal, Taken, and for the final round, Crota. The loot rotation will be on week 3's rotation, with the Scatterhorn armor set and the Lightkin armor set being available. The weapons available this week are the Kinetic Rapid Fire Frame Auto Rifle Chroma Rush, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Grenade Launcher Ignition Code, the Void Rapid Fire Frame Pulse Rifle Grid Skipper, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Sidearm Farewell, the Solar Pinpoint Slug Frame Shotgun Sonja's Tail, the Void Rapid Fire Frame Machine Gun Shattered Cipher, the Arc Precision Frame Fusion Rifle Main Ingredient, the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Sniper Rifle Long Shadow, the Arc Armalon Adaptive Frame Sidearm Last Dance, the Kinetic Aggressive Frame Shotgun Toil and Trouble, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Shotgun Wishbringer, and the Void Adaptive Frame Pulse Rifle Last Perdition. For the Witch Queen expansion, the Witch Queen weekly story mission is The Cunning, where the modifier will be Scorched Earth, with Barrier and Unstoppable champions. Also this week you will have Altar of Reflection's Choice, and Altar of Reflection's Insight. The Wellspring activity has been updated to include a featured Throne World weapon, Veritas armor, and a weapon pattern as its rewards. For the Lightfall expansion, the weekly mission is No Time Left, with Barrier and Unstoppable champions, lock loadouts at Legend difficulty and higher, Void Threat, Void and Strand shields, Pestilence, Stasis and Solar Surges, with overcharged machine guns and galvanized on hero difficulty only. The Partition mission will be Backdoor, contest mode enabled with Barrier and Overload champions, Void Threat, Arc and Solar shields, Shocker modifier with Solar and Stasis surges. And the Vex incursion this week will be Zephyr Concourse. In addition, the weekly Lightfall reset also refreshes the Pinnacle drop for the Node Override Avalon exotic mission on the EDZ, and the Starcrossed exotic mission in the Helm. For the Season of the Deep, all 3 fishing ponds are now exotic all week. Raids and Dungeons. The Crota's End Raid challenge this week is the second encounter across the bridge called Precarious Balance. Guardians cannot step on the bridge while it is fully formed. Plus, if you complete the weekly challenge on Master, you'll get an Adept weapon. The Adept weapon you get is a random drop but works on a knockout system. You will get a new one with every challenge you complete every week until you've unlocked them all. The Root of Nightmares raid challenge this week is the third encounter, Macrocosm, called Cosmic Equilibrium. Players must swap all of the dark planets to the left side of the room and all of the light worlds to the right. The Vow the Disciple challenge this week is the fourth encounter, Rogue, called Looping Catalyst. This is where Guardians must not lose the Leeching Force buff before the damage phase. The Vault of Glass challenge this week is the third encounter, Templar, called Out of Its Way, where you must keep the Templar from teleporting. The Deep Stone Crypt challenge this week is the second encounter, Atrax 1, called Copies of Copies, where you must not send any Atrax 1 replicant debuffs into the airlock/space. The Garden of Salvation challenge this week is the second encounter, Spy Defense, called A Link to the Chain. This is where all Guardians must receive the Enlighten buff at the same time. And the Last Wish challenge this week is the second encounter, Shirochi, called Witch Witch. Guardians must not get hit or take damage from Shirochi's Arc Blast. Your Pinnacle raid will be Kingsfall over in the Legends tab, which means all challenges will be available for each encounter. These are the first encounter, Totems, called The Grass is Always Greener. Players cannot take the same brand type twice in a row. The second encounter, War Priest, called Devious Thievery. Players must steal the brand of the initiate within a couple of seconds of taking the brand claimer's buff. The third encounter, Golgoroth, called Gazer Maze. The gaze holder must stand in the pool of unclaimed light when swapping the gaze. The fourth encounter, Daughters of Oryx, called Under Construction. Players cannot stand on the same plate twice in a single phase. And the fifth encounter, Oryx, called Hands Off. Players must not kill the same Ogre or Light Eater Knight throughout the encounter. Also, with the Kingsfall being the featured raid, this does mean that you can farm the final boss for a chance at the exotic scout rifle, Touch of Malice. The Pinnacle dungeon will be the Grasp of Avarice over on the Cosmodrome. And the exotic mission rotator will be Presage, with the Dead Man's Tale exotic scout rifle being the main reward. Craftable weapons available from this mission include the Arc Adaptive Glaive, Nezarex's Whisper, the Stasis Aggressive Frame Rocket Launcher, Bump in the Night, the Kinetic Precision Frame Scout Rifle, Tears of Contrition, the Void Adaptive Frame Trace Rifle Hollow Denial, the Kinetic Precision Frame Auto Rifle Firefright, the Solar Lightweight Frame Shotgun Without Remorse, the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Hand Cannon Stringer, the Solar Sidearm Drang Baroque, the Solar Adaptive Frame Sniper Beloved, and the Solar Submachine Gun Callus Mini Tool, with the Eidolon Pursuant armor set. Next up, challenges. We have now had all 66 challenges over the first 10 weeks of the season. So, as a reminder, if you complete 63 out of the 66, you can get a large pile of Bright Dust to spend at the Eververse store in-game. Here's a few that you might have missed that you might want to get completed in the next few months. Boss Battle. Defeat bosses in Strikes or Vanguard playlists. Bonus progress is granted for defeating bosses on Hero difficulty or higher. 4. Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. Over Specialise. Get 100 final blows with weapons using special ammo in ritual activities. Earn bonus progress by defeating Guardians. 4. Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust. Darkest Nightfall. Complete any Nightfall strike on Hero difficulty or higher. Bonus progress is granted for completing Nightfalls above Hero difficulty. 4. Challenge XP++, Bright Dust and a Nightfall weapon. Taking all challenges. Complete weekly playlist challenges. 4. Challenge XP+ and Bright Dust. Throne World activities. In the Throne World, complete bounties and earn progress by completing patrols, public events, and looting lost sectors. 4. Challenge XP and Bright Dust. Round and round we go. Generate orbs of power in Vanguard, Gambit, or Crucible playlists. 4. Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. Absolutely stunning. Stun 50 champions. 4. Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. And Mod Collector. Unlock 12 artifact mods. 4. Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust. Hello! As a reminder, your daily lost sector will show you a flag outside which will give you details of threats, shields, champions and exotic armour you will find inside. But if you're new to the game or using an alternate character and can't find the flag outside, you will have to run through the lost sector normally to have it show up on your map as a legend/master, which you can either do solo or with a fire team, but you'll only be able to earn a chance at the exotic drop when completing solo. This season will see the introduction of Gunsmith engrams, as well as a selection of foundry weapons for completing Legend and Master lost sectors while solo, with Legend being a 70% chance to Master being 100%, assuming the Guardian is thorough enough to leave no champion standing. Thorough completions on Master difficulty will also have the advantage of weapons dropping an additional perk in either the third or fourth column. The weapons available from the lost sectors are grouped into 4 weapons per day over 4 days, and after the 4th day the cycle repeats back to the first set. The following weapons will be available from the lost sectors during the Season of the Wish. Day 1, the Strand High Impact Frame Fusion Rifle Nox Perennial 5, the Strand Adaptive Frame Auto Rifle Old Sterling, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Grenade Launcher Marsilian C, and the Stasis Omolon Adaptive Frame Sidearm Sinua SI6. Day 2, the Stasis High Impact Frame Pulse Rifle Psychomatic 5, the Strand Precision Frame Scout Rifle Glissando 47, the Strand Vice Rapid Fire Frame Sniper Rifle Urakanji, and the Arc Adaptive Frame Sword Nazaruddin. Day 3, the Solar Lightweight Frame Sidearm Heliocentric QSC, the Kinetic Aggressive Frame Sniper Rifle Last Foray, the Arc Aggressive Frame Shotgun Hand in Hand, and the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Pulse Rifle Battle Scar. Day 4, the Nadir Void Adaptive Frame Sword Geodetic HSM, the Arc Aggressive Frame Hand Cannon Combined Action, the Void Wave Frame Grenade Launcher Harsh Language, and the Solar Adaptive Frame Auto Rifle Coronactor 22. This week's rotation will start on Weapons Set 2 on Tuesday's reset. Tuesday, April 9th will be Battleground Wishes on the Dreaming City for exotic helmets, Arc Threat, Solar and Stasis Surges, Void Shields, the Raider Shield modifier, Overcharged Snipers with Overload and Unstoppable Champions. Wednesday, April 10th will be Chamber of Starlight on the Dreaming City for exotic boots, Solar Threat, Solar and Stasis Surges, Void and Solar Shields, Epitaph modifier, Overcharged Swords with Overload and Unstoppable Champions. Thursday, April 11th will be Petition on Europa for exotic gauntlets, Arc Threat, Solar and Stasis Surges, Arc and Void Shields, Shocker modifier, Overcharged Fusion Rifles with Barrier and Overload Champions. Friday, April 12th will be Bunker E15 on Europa for exotic chests, Void Threat, Solar and Stasis Surges, Void Shields, Shocker modifier, Overcharged Grenade Launchers with Barrier and Overload Champions. Saturday, April 13th will be Concealed Void on Europa for exotic helmets, Solar Threat, Solar and Stasis Surges, Void and Solar Shields, Arachno modifier, Overcharged Trace Rifles with Barrier and Overload Champions. Sunday, April 14th will be Thriller Dome on Neptune for exotic boots, Void Threat, Solar and Stasis Surges, Arc and Void Shields, Shocker modifier, Overcharged grenade launchers with barrier and overload champions. And finally, back round to Monday, April 15th will be Gilded Precept on Neptune for exotic gauntlets, Arc Threat, Solar and Strand Surges, Void and Solar Shields, Scorched Earth Modifier, Overcharged Glaives with barrier and unstoppable champions.
Lead the way.
Our 20th feature Nightfall will see us face off against Hymix in the birthplace of the Vile over on the Throne World, where you have a chance to get a Pinnacle engram if you complete the Nightfall with a score of 200k or more. This Nightfall will require you to own the Witch Queen expansion. You'll be able to earn high-end gear for your characters, including the Nightfall featured weapon, exotic gear, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, Ascendant shards, and adept Nightfall ciphers. The higher the Nightfall difficulty, the more common the drop will be, with the featured weapon and exotic gear being uncommon at hero difficulty to being common with Ascendant shards in Grandmasters. Legend and lower Nightfalls will have 7 Overload and 5 Unstoppable, with 2 Solar, 7 Void and 4 Arc shields. Masters and GMs will have 12 Overload and 8 Unstoppable, with 2 Solar, 7 Void and 2 Arc shields. Your Nightfall modifiers are Hero difficulty, maximum effective level 1765, matchmaking is available, enemies have extra shields, Champions foe, you will face Overload and Unstoppable champions. You can either use intrinsic exotics, use a subclass debuffer, or unlock anti-champion mods from the seasonal artifact. Overcharged weapons, weapons overcharged from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increase damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. Void threat, 25% increase to incoming void damage. Solar and stasis surges, 25% bonus with solar and stasis damage. Overcharged fusion rifles, 25% bonus damage with fusion rifles. Raider shields, Scorn Raiders had void shields. Galvanize, combatants have more health and are more difficult to stun. Legend difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. No matchmaking. Equipment locked, you will be unable to change your equipment once the mission starts. Master difficulty, maximum effective level 1820, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. Champions mob, this difficulty adds more champion enemies. Scorched Earth, enemies throw grenades significantly more often. Grandmaster difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized, Raider shields and Scorched Earth. Join in progress disabled. Extinguish, if your fire team falls in a restricted zone, your team is returned to orbit. Limited revives, gain additional revives by defeating champions, up to a maximum of 20. Qantas mode, which caps your power level to make enemies more of a challenge. Empath, gain enhanced radar but take increased damage from melee. And Chafe, the radar is disabled. To combat champions, you have access to subclass counters as well as a choice of intrinsic anti-champion artifact mods. This season's artifact is the Queen's Force Sensor. The anti-champion mods available this week are Overload Auto Rifle, Overload Pulse Rifle, and Overload Rocket Launcher, Unstoppable Hand Cannon, and Unstoppable Bow. You also have exotic weapons and armor that can help with intrinsic mods as well. For Overload, the Void Energy Bowler Monarch, the Arc Energy Linear Trace Rifle Divinity, the Arc Heavy Machine Gun Thunderlord, and the Warlock Exotic Boots the Secant Filaments, which when you drop an Empowering Rift, any weapon that is fired from inside the well can cause an Overload champion to be stunned. For Unstoppable, the Kinetic Fusion Rifle Bastion, the Kinetic Hand Cannon Malfeasance, the Kinetic Scout Rifle Touch of Malice, the Solar Energy Sidearm Devil's Ruin, the Void Heavy Bow Leviathan's Breath, the Titan Gauntlet Sash and Wake, where Fusion Grenade hits stun unstoppable champions, and the Hunter Gauntlet Zathras' Embrace, which have a chance to stun unstoppable champions with their empowered weighted knife. The Nightfall featured weapon to obtain this week will be the Void High Impact Frame Rocket Launcher, the Braytech Osprey. The Braytech Osprey has a base blast radius of 90, velocity of 41 and handling of 64. It can roll with bipod, lasting impressions and destabilizing rounds. With auto-loading holster, cluster bombs and keep away. It has the origin trait of stunning recovery, where if you stun a champion you partially refill the magazine, trigger health regen and improve your recovery for a short duration. And Vanguard Vindication, where final blows with the weapon grant a small amount of health. Available in the 6v6 playlist will be Control. Control is a variation of Team Deathmatch, with the added variable of 3 capture points on the map, in which teams will need to work together to capture and hold the point. Guardians conquer capture points by standing on them while no enemies are in capture range. The process takes about 10 seconds and is not affected by the number of Guardians taking part in the capture. Each team begins with a capture point under their control, the one that is closest to their starting area. The third capture point will initially be neutral. Depending on the number of capture points held by a team, the points rewarded for killing an opponent varies. The scoring is calculated as follows: base kill rewards plus 1 point, Zone advantage: when a team holds 2 capture points, killing an enemy will reward the team with 2 points. Power play: when a team holds all 3 capture points, killing an enemy will reward them with plus 3 points. Capture: conquering a capture point rewards the team that claimed it with plus 1 point. Capturing a point will reward you and your team a small portion of super energy. If you are on the point while it's captured, you will gain additional energy on top of this small portion. During a control match, there is only one power ammo spawn location. It will spawn in at 45 seconds and then every 120 seconds. Control matches feature an 8-minute time limit, and all players will respawn automatically 5 seconds after the death mechanics. The first team to 150 points, or the team that has the most points at the end of the time limit, is declared the winner. And Rift returns in the Party Relentless playlist. Rift is a 6v6 game mode that focuses heavily on objective-based gameplay and not just killing the enemy team. Instead of accruing points based on defeating enemies, players can score points by picking up the spark and dunking into their opponent's rift, which is near the enemy spawn. A team can either win by scoring 5 points before the opposing team can, by scoring 3 points without the enemy team getting a look in, or having more points when the time runs out. The spark spawns in the centre of the map and starts to charge after 6 seconds of the round starting, and becomes visible for all players on the map. After another 12 to 13 seconds, the spark is available for players to pick up, giving both teams approximately 20 seconds to fight over the spark before either side can pick it up. For 5 seconds after a player picks up the spark, they become marked on both teams' maps. After that, they're only marked on their own team's map unless they are in view of the enemy team. The carrier can only hold onto the spark for 1 minute and 15 seconds. After that, the spark detonates, killing the carrier and those around them before resetting. Should the carrier die in any way that isn't from the spark detonating, the spark drops at that location. If a player picks up the spark whilst in their super, they are immediately pulled out of their super. Furthermore, they will not gain any more super energy whilst holding the spark, and will be unable to use their super even if it is fully charged. If a player dies, they must wait 10 seconds before respawning, but their teammates can revive them during this time. This forces players to focus on teamwork to help push up on their enemies, but can also leave some players out of the game for an extended duration if their team can't or won't revive them. Showdown will also be available in the 3v3 playlist. In Showdown, 2 teams of 3 compete in a round-based twist on the standard team deathmatch. Teams have to work together to score as many kills as they can across a series of 5-timed rounds. If each team manages to win 2 rounds apiece, a 5th Showdown round commences, in which each player has only 1 life, kicking off a tense elimination style tiebreaker. Rounds are 90 seconds with a score limit of 10. Revives are available, and reviving a down teammate before they respawn will take the point back from the opposing team. And available in the Crucible Labs playlist will be the new 3v3 King of the Hill mode, Collision. In Collision, a single larger zone will rotate between 5 points around the map on a timer, and capturing and controlling it will earn your team points. Zone scores plus 1 point when your team captures an active zone, and scores plus 1 point for each time interval your team controls the zone after. Captured zones will deactivate after a set time, and a new zone will appear somewhere else on the map. But be aware, in Collision there is no mercy rule. This version of Collision will test an alternative special ammo crate system, where 4 shareable special ammo crates will spawn simultaneously at the beginning of each game or round, and then on a timer afterwards. Each control zone located at A, B and C will have an associated special ammo crate, and the 4th crate will be in a neutral location. Also, players who currently have special ammo will drop special ammo bricks on death.
Delightful!
Saint 14 will be back at the weekend with his mid-season refresh of Trials of Osiris Dominion, bringing with him a whole host of rewards for players who do make it to the Lighthouse and open the chest. These include the Hero's Wake exotic Ghost Shell, the Valiant Memory exotic ship, the Survivor's Journey exotic Sparrow, the Visor Regala shader, and high stat Trials armor. In this mid-season refresh we also have some new and returning weapons, including the Solar Adaptive Frame Auto Rifle the Summoner, which has a base impact of 21, a range of 40 and stability of 41. It can roll with Kill Clip, Onslaught and Target Lock, with Overflow, Dynamic Sway Reduction and Heal Clip. It has the origin trait of Alacrity, where you gain increased reload, stability, aim assist and range when you are the last living member on your fire team or running solo. And One Quiet Moment, where you gain increased reload speed and handling when out of combat. And we have the new Stasis Aggressive Frame Scout Rifle the Prophet, which has a base impact of 100, a range of 59 and stability of 29. It can roll with Golden Tricorn, Kill Clip and Cascade Point, with Discord, Enlightened Action and Rapid Hit. It also has the origin trait of Alacrity and One Quiet Moment, with Text Balanced Stock, where damaging a target whilst firing from the hip increase handling, reload speed and movement speed whilst aiming down sights. If you need a refresh, Trials of Osiris Dominion is still going to be the game mode that we know, a 3v3 PvP high stakes game mode, where 2 teams of 3 go head to head in a battle for control of a capture point. Teams can either work together to capture the control point or eliminate the enemy team to win the round. Only available from Friday reset until Tuesday weekly reset, Trials gives every player the chance to show off their PvP skills to obtain some of Destiny's most sought after weapons and armour. Players that compete in Trials of Osiris will have all of their games tracked through a passage card, a ticket purchased from Saint 14 in the lower hang of the tower. In this mid-season refresh, Saint 14 is mixing things up with some new and revised passage cards. With the revised Passage of Ferocity, if you have not been flawless for the week, losses after the third win will reset your card back to the third win instead of flawing your card, meaning you can try again for that flawless run without having to fully reset. And with the new Passage of Persistence, losses following a win will remove that win from your card. Consecutive losses do not remove additional wins. Getting to 7 wins grants you a drop of the weekly Adept weapon, regardless of how many losses you have taken. If your card is flawed, you will not be able to visit the Lighthouse, but 7 wins on the card guarantees an Adept drop. This card can be reset after 7 wins to try again for another drop. Saint 14 is also adding rewards for match completions by 3-person fire teams. You do not need to win to earn these rewards, but they are participation gated, so simply jumping off the map or sitting AFK in spawn will disqualify you from these rewards. You will also earn additional Trials reputation, a 50% chance at getting the non-Adept Trials weekly weapon, and a 50% chance at getting a Trials engram. But winning rounds and matches in Trials will guarantee you weapons, armour, Pinnacle gear, Master materials, and even Adept weapons. For those most skilled players who can reach the Lighthouse with a flawless ticket of 7 games won with no losses, Adept weapons have a chance to drop with every win after your flawless run. 5 round wins will bag you the match for your passage card. Also, by competing in Trials, you do have the chance to pick up 2 Pinnacle engrams from playing each week, one from 50 round wins and the other from winning 7 games. These do not have to be done all in one go, but you do have to complete them before the weekly reset.
Earn your honour, Guardian.
For anyone who is just returning or catching up with content, we have Riven's Wishes, where players can visit Marasov in the Helm to accept a new weekly quest with a high-risk objective in the Dreaming City, such as completing legendary lost sectors or dungeons. Upon completion of these weekly objectives, players can return to Mara to receive a wish token. Each week you can use this token to choose a prize from one of the 3 different categories. Category 1, Last Wish Resonance, where you can choose a red bordered Last Wish raid weapon. These are the Kinetic Rapid Fire Frame Sniper Rifle Supremacy, the Kinetic High Impact Frame Scout Rifle Transfiguration, the Solar Adaptive Frame Rocket Launcher Apex Predator, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Pulse Rifle Chattering Bone, the Arc Adaptive Frame Hand Cannon Nation of Beasts, the Arc Adaptive Frame Fusion Rifle Techian Force, the Solar Lightweight Frame Bow Tyranny of Heaven, and the Void High Impact Frame Auto Rifle Age Old Bond. Category 2, Exotics, where you can choose a piece of Lightfall Year Exotic Armour. For the Hunters, the Speedloader Slacks, Certarachne's Facade, Triton Vice, and the Mothkeeper's Wraps. For the Titans, the Cadmus Ridge Lance Cap, Abeyant Leap, a Bull Warden, and the Pyrogale Gauntlets. For the Warlocks, Ballador's Wrathweavers, Swarmers, Cenotaph Mask, and the Briarbinds. Category 3, Miscellaneous, where you can choose from a variety of other rewards, such as Dawning and Fest of the Lost Mementos, Ascendant Shards, Ascendant Alloys, and Exotic Ciphers. Riven's Wishes will offer new quests for 6 weeks, but you will have time to complete them and earn rewards up through the Final Shapes release.
That is amazing.
Also continuing this week will be Moments of Triumph 2023, with a collection of 30 challenges celebrating everything you've been able to achieve in the past year. If you've been active, you'll likely already have some of these completed, which just gets you closer to getting the 26 you'll need for the 2023 title. Along the way, you'll also earn some event rewards, including the new Laurel Shell for your Ghost, and the Fire Guilt Quadrig Sparrow, plus access to purchase the 2023 Moments of Triumph shirt. This week we'll also see bonus Gambit Ranks available all week long. Plus, as a reminder, you can collect a free pile of 700 Bright Dust from the Eververse store every week up until the Final Shapes release.
Get back out there.
And that's it for the 20th week of Season of the Wish. Thank you for watching. Allons-y.
Guardian down.